Hello, everyone. I am just getting all set up. Oh no, it's not gonna let me be great. Okay, here we go. All right, y'all. Welcome to episode number 2. I'm sure people are going to join as we get going, but if you're watching a replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay. I'm so excited. I came back for a second week because I mentioned this last time that to do this live show has been a goal of mine for a while. I just keep putting it off. I get scared too, y'all. But I put accountability measures, i.e., other people in place to ensure that I would do this. So that's why kicking off with interviews. It's a fun fact if you don't know how I started originally with Office Hours with Dr. Lacy. I started off with interviews because I was terrified to just have my voice on the podcast by myself. And shout out to Dr. TJ Stewart, who just got tenure, by the way, for encouraging me and like breaking down this process of starting this podcast and serving as my first person I interviewed. And so 7 years later, probably almost down to the date, I need to go check when I started, but 7 years later, here we are. We're doing a live show. If you're on Instagram, say, hey, how you doing? You can come over on YouTube if you want to be engaged in the conversation. I won't be able to see the comments all the way, and Instagram I need another monitor. But if you want to come and talk with us, you should definitely come on to YouTube because I'm streaming live there as well. But let's get into some like housekeeping things, shall we? I want to remind y'all, and this study yesterday, we had our first day of the 90-day proposal challenge. Listen, people's brains were blown. They were not ready. Because when you think of like welcome call, right? And Erica can see me, y'all. And that's what I'm like saying right too. When you think of welcome call, you think of like the first day of class, right? You think of syllabus day where people are just reading off to you and you don't really do anything. That is not how I roll. We got time, we don't do things. Like we are going to do things. If we got the time to do it, we're doing it. So you can ask the people who've already joined. They needed a nap, they needed a blanket, they needed some cup of water because you haven't met a challenge until you come inside the Ball Scholars. Because the way we do challenge, you're not used to it. You think you know how to work hard. Come on and hang out with us, is what I'll say. But there's still time for you to join this challenge. You want to make the most of the summer. Why are you not in this challenge? What do you need? Okay, you can either do the monthly option, which is $150 a month, or you can pay for 3 months up front at $400. You save $50. I'm doing this because some people asked me wanted to use things like PayPal credit or Afterpay, and you can only do that with a one-time payment. So that is my solution for that. That you can go ahead and pay for 3 months in advance. I'm going to tell you that you're going to come for 3 months and you're going to stay for your entire dissertation. You're going to hear from Erica, and this is going to be very compelling as to why you would want to stay. I'm not going to even tell you. I already know this is the best community. I will fight anybody. But I want you throughout this podcast, I want y'all to hear from actual students in the program because I don't want you to think I'm just making it up. But if you are for real, you want to get done with your proposal or any part of the proposal, you need to be in this challenge. And if you got questions, let me know. We could talk about it, but you need to be in the challenge. All right, what next? Come and join us on Wednesdays. We do writing sessions, noon to 2 Eastern. It's just a quick way in the middle of the week to get some things done. It's free. Tell your friends to pull up. You don't have to do anything. You can just register and come on into the Zoom room. But we've been doing this, for 2 months now, 3 months now? I started in February, so 3 months. It's been amazing. People are writing whole dissertations, so you need to come in there, all right? And also our community, if you want to hang out with some students, again, all of this is free. I do a lot of free things because I want y'all to win. I want you to finish your dissertation. And I recognize that not everyone has the resources or the ability to sign up for the paid program, but I receive messages on a regular of people writing whole dissertations by listening to the podcast, being in the community, coming to the Wednesday calls. Y'all, I'm here offering help. Please take it. Allow yourself to receive support. And here's the thing. We do this every call. We did this last week. If you're watching on Instagram, it might be a little bit hard for you to see, but essentially I just want to know how you are doing. If you cannot see this sign, I'll figure out how to make this more visible on Instagram, but just let me know how you're doing. Even if you can't read this, how are you today? How are you doing on this Monday? It is the 29th of April. And I can't wait for April to be done because this month it don't know how to follow instructions. It was supposed to come in and sit down, and this month has been nothing but intense and emotional. And I just want May to be real peaceful. Erica, it's been intense, it's been emotional, and so I would say I'm doing good, but I'm gonna be even better when it comes. All right, Venus went into Taurus, and for my astrology people, and I'm just feeling better about that. Venus is the planet that's ruling my life, dear. I'm so glad we made it to May. But I'm gonna bring up Erica. I'm gonna do a little story time, and then I'm gonna bring her up. She said her favorite part. I asked people what their favorite part of Qual Scholars is. Freedom to learn and grow at our own pace without feeling pressured to perform at a certain level is invaluable. In the Qual Scholars community, there is a strong culture of understanding that everyone has unique strengths, weaknesses, and learning styles. This fosters an environment where individuals can explore, make mistakes, and learn from each other without fear of judgment. This acceptance of diversity and learning capacities makes the community so welcoming and conducive to personal and intellectual development. That sounds so smart. Thank you so much for these kind words. It sounds so smart. I'm like, that's what we do. That is what we do. That's so great.
I
So here's
try
the
to
thing.
capture it all.
Like, say it again.
I try to capture it all because it was everything that I experienced. So,
Uh-huh. Listen, and you can help me with this story, but I just remember,
ooh,
right? I remember us on the phone. So some of y'all has signed up for a dissertation breakthrough session. Erica signed up for one, and friend referred her to say you
mhm.
should go work with this person. So she scheduled a call to me, and she was in the back seat. Her husband was driving. They were going somewhere at this date. She in the back seat. We're just talking and trying to make sure that the internet is on our side while we're talking. Listen, I tell people, I don't care how you show up. Call, I want you to show up because it takes for a lot of us, it takes so much just to show up
Yeah.
that we can't just show up. Like we can do all the things that we want to do in the ways to show up, but like just show up, y'all. So that's a word for somebody. But I was talking to Erica and she was saying, like, I'm in this program, this cohort model. I have all these things I want to do, but life be life, and right. I got all these goals and I have all these plans, but my family wants me to do this. So and so at work wants me to do this. I just feel like all these people are tugging on me and I don't have time and space for myself. If you can relate to that, please let us know. Let us know by saying yes. Yeah, yes, I see you, Erica, in the comments. Let us know. And what I asked her was, what if you allowed yourself to just be a powerhouse?
Ooh,
No, it's just so good. I said, what? A powerhouse is to me is like this self-generating mechanism that has the ability to say, this is what I want to do, and has the ability to and I'm going to do it. Because what I was hearing from Erica isn't that I didn't know what to do. It was what I was hearing was I don't have the permission to do that. And so in February, was it February or March? One of these months, because they're blending in now. Okay. And I don't know. We were talking about power because I kept going back to that conversation we had, Erica. I kept being like, if I was going to operationalize power, how would I do that? Like
mm,
how would I do that? And so then my brain was like, physics. Go back to physics. So listen, if you're not a math person, a STEM person, a physics person, I promise you I'm not gonna get real technical with these equations, just how my brain works. Okay, go with me. So what we did for a whole month is we talked about this one equation. Power equals work over the change in time. Power is the measure of how much effort you put into taking action toward becoming doctor. I'm gonna break this down.
mhm.
Okay, remember what I said? We're not gonna freak out about these. We're not freaking out about these equations. Okay, just listen to me. Listen to the words. I like to break things down. Work. What is work in terms of there's an equation that work is like force times the distance. I'm like, what does that mean though? What is force times the distance? What does that mean in the dissertation process? So then force is the direction your energy flows, right? The direction. If you strike an object, right, you're striking it with, you can't see my hand, you're striking it with force, it's going to move in a certain direction. Direction that it moves in is measured by the distance. Keep going with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. It's measured by the distance. I have an image for you. So that's work. time, this little triangle thing just means a change in time. So end date, start date. Another way of saying that is graduation date versus today. How much time do you have available to get all the things done that you would need to do for the dissertation? Let me help you. I promise you this is going to make sense. Stay with me. So this is you, everybody. This is you. You have all of these things you could do in a day, right? You might be TAing a course. You might be working on a manuscript with somebody. You might be trying to write shitty chapters of your proposal, right? You might be talking to your friends. Y'all might go to happy hour on a Monday. I love good Monday happy hour and wings and trivia. Okay, come back. Right, you might be at the trivia complaining to your friends about how you're ready to quit this program, right? All of these are actions. All of these are things that you could do. All of these things take energy for you to do them.
Mm-hmm.
But not all of these things are equal in terms of getting you closer to your goal of becoming doctor. Right? Because you could spend time going to trivia and complaining to friends, but it's not going to move you towards your dissertation. It's going to move you further away from your dissertation because nothing about complaining to friends does anything tangible for you to finish the dissertation. Or you could say, I'm gonna write some shitty chapters. That's going to move you closer to the dissertation because you're actually putting words on a page and it's moving you closer to your goal. Let me know if you're following me so far in the comments. Please put a 1 in the comment. Please, please, please. So I know where we are. So let me go back to this. This was me being nice because I could have put other things here. Because some of y'all, right, y'all like to read a lot, right? You might be like, I'm organizing myself. I'm making a plan. And on the surface, those things they do help you get to the dissertation. But I want you to think about, as we go over the course of today's conversation, how close are you getting? How much do the things that you do on a regular, like a daily basis, how close, how much impact do they have in closing the distance between where you are now and where you're trying to go? And if you like Dr. Henry over here and you're not even, you like, forget this dissertation, I'm done, I'm doctor, right? Put another goal in there. For her, it's business. How much of what you're doing, your habits, is helping you get to your goal.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got our equations, right? Power equals work over the change of time. Work equals force times distance. We talked about this is about the type of task that we do. But my brain was like, that's still not clear enough. I don't know. I kind of get force and distance, but what does that mean? So when we break up force and distance, right? We talked about distance being the amount of tasks that you complete over time. When we think about force is the energy you're using. Let me say it this way. You already know there's a certain amount of tasks that you have to do in order to finish a dissertation. If you're doing a traditional format dissertation, you know there's 5 chapters you have to write. You got to do an IRB, you got to do a proposal defense, a final defense, talk to some people, right? Collect some data, right? You know these tasks that you have to do. That's not going to change. The time frame, if you set a goal like you want to graduate, say you want to graduate next May, that time is set. So our tasks and our times are set. So we can't even change that. We're not going to even worry about that. What we have to worry about on a daily basis is our energy. Your energy. This is a part of the equation. A lot of you want to focus on just tell me what to do. Like people will come to me and they'll say, if you just give me an action plan, I'll just do it. I'll do it. Y'all, when I first started, even I would tell people exactly what to do. How many people do you think do it? Because if it was that simple, if it was as simple as I just need to know what to do and I'll do it, you would be doctor already. It's not that simple. Because you got to account for your energy. Your energy, and let me do this, move us over here. Your energy, and probably can't see that, your energy is based on your level of self-worth, meaning how do you talk to yourself in your head? Are you telling yourself things like, oh, of course I'm gonna be doctor, or of course I can write this chapter. I got it. I can figure it out. Like I'm made for this. I could do this. It's no problem. Is the conversation that's happening in your mind on a daily basis, or is the conversation more like, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I don't know if I have what it takes. I don't have enough support. I don't have enough resources. Everybody else got it easier than I do. What is that conversation sounding like? That links back to how worthy you deem yourself in this process. Your energy is also connected to your self-esteem. What do you think you deserve? What do you think you deserve? Emotionally, do you emotionally think you deserve to finish a dissertation? Emotionally, do you feel it in your body? Of course, I deserve to be doctor. Of course, I'm qualified to. Right now, I'm qualified. Right now, I'm legitimate. Right now, the only thing that's going to be me in graduation is some paperwork. Or is your emotions more like, oh, I don't know. You're like you're shrinking yourself. You're scared. You're fearful. You feel like an imposter. That's connected to your self-esteem. And then self-confidence. Confidence just means, did I do this before? Is it reasonable that I think I could do this now because I did things similarly before? Confidence comes down to your daily habits. What are those actions that you are doing on a daily basis? The more you do a thing, the more comfortable you are, the more confident you are. When we're learning something new, our confidence is low because we never did it before. But the more you show up and you write a shitty paragraph, the more comfortable you become writing a shitty paragraph, the more confident you become in your writing because you have more practice writing. I probably went ahead of myself, but here's, I think, some additional things. So, are you worth the energy? Right. What I was asking Erica essentially when I asked her, are you willing to be a powerhouse? What I was saying to her on that phone was, you already know you run circles around people. I said, like, you already know you run circles around other teachers. Teachers are coming to you to help them. So it's not about the work. It's not about your work ethic. And right, and I told you, right, you do a lot in a short
Yeah.
period of time.
Yes.
You do a lot in a short period of time. The only thing that's messing up here is the energy. Do you believe it's okay? Essentially, I was asking her, is it okay for you to show up and be better than other people? Is it okay for you to show up and work harder than other people? Is it okay that you show up and you're like, no, I deserve this promotion. I deserve the other job. I deserve to write my proposal in a matter of months. I deserve to have the best literature review. And now I deserve to have the model. What was it? Why am I blanking on what are those people called?
It was my superintendent practicum
Superintendent
presentation.
practicum. Yes. That's an internal conversation that you have to have every day with yourself. Do I think I'm worthy of this? Do I deserve this? Am I confident in myself? Do I give myself permission to show up as a powerhouse? So that's my question, y'all. Are you giving yourself permission to show up as the powerhouse that you already are? If you need help, come and join us inside the Institute because these things over here are your new habits, are your new systems and your processes and the ways you're going to hold yourself accountable to push yourself to be a powerhouse. When I said in the beginning, oh, you don't know a challenge like the one we do here, is because I'm not going to tell you to play small. I'm not your faculty. I'm not jealous of you. I'm not trying to control you. In fact, I'm trying to show you how much you're playing small. Because when you can recognize that, you stop playing small. You will play out loud. And when you do that, this dissertation is just a matter of time. But then you can free your brain up to think about what comes next. What am I going to do next? What's the impact on the world? It is how, in the middle of writing a dissertation in 2 months, I was like, a business. I think I should have a business, Qua Scholars. If I didn't give myself permission to do that, y'all, we wouldn't be here having this conversation. Okay, so with that, I let me know y'all reactions though. I'm gonna go look at Instagram in a minute, but let me know your reactions. All right, Erica, how are you?
I'm
What are
good.
you
I'm
doing?
good. I feel I may be so if I yarn y'all, I've had a long day and we'll get to kind of how my day entailed. But I'm feeling really, really good. I'm in a good place today. I'm in a good place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, you looking good. Come on, hair. Come on, earrings. Yes,
Thank you.
yes. So, I did give a list of questions, but my brain is like, we're just gonna talk. Just be humans. Tell the people, what did you do today? Tell us your whole day today.
So today, well, first, I'm an academic instructional coach. I was a special ed teacher for 14 years, but now I'm an academic instructional coach. So I coach teachers. And so today, I had to present my superintendent practicum. It's the last piece of my coursework for my doctoral program. So I presented that today at 2 o'clock, and that's a whole like portfolio with artifacts, that kind of thing that you have to present. It is like legit, like a whole thing. And then that was at 2 o'clock. And then today I also defended my proposal defense for my dissertation at 4:30. So I am tired and I was busy today, but successfully passed both of those. Yay. It's really exciting. It's been a long journey. And I'm just grateful today. I'm in a place where it's like, it's family here and I got it, and I'm just one step closer. Like it's just I can taste it. It's great. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
Okay, so you said that like real calmly, like, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, I was at work and then I did this little presentation and then another one, and now I'm here. What? How are you doing all of this?
Oh my goodness. Really honestly, it I have to when you talked about the powerhouse, all I could think about was giving myself permission. Um I knew I had it. I felt like I always had it, but I needed somebody else to tell me. You know, people tell you that
Mhm.
know you. You didn't know me and you told me. And that right there, that did it for me. It's just really being able to hear you say like, what if you just said it? He was like, what if you showed up and became a powerhouse? And I was like, I don't even know what that means, but whatever that means, it sounds great. Okay, let me figure this thing out and let me allow myself to have permission and go and do that. And that's what I've done throughout this whole program. That's what I've done through Qual Scholars. It's just really showed up for me, blocked out the noise, put aside the naysayers, and just did it. And it feels so good. It feels so good. It felt really good. And I owe that to the makeup of the program and the design, because it's not just about coming and doing this doctoral work, right? Like it's not about that. For me, it was more about showing up in a space that allowed me to make mistakes, showing up in a space where I could just be myself outside of my cohort. Because even in the cohort model, you feel like you are still competing, in a sense, with these people that has this same, everybody's trying to get done. But when, within the community, it's just like, it's different. It's a different feel and it's a different vibe. Show up with, my hair wrapped up or a bonnet on, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be, it's not this, structured thing. It's this unstructured organization that allows you to just be you. And I enjoy that and really diving deep into who I am, because I don't think I'm know for a fact I'm not the same person as I was. I think, when did I join? Like it's been a year and a half now, maybe 2 years. I'm not the same person as when I showed up, 2 years ago as I am now, and I owe that to Call Scholars and to just being a powerhouse and really diving deep and figuring out what that is. Yeah.
Yes. And you also finished classes today, right? Did you say that?
I did. I finished dissertation coursework. Like I'm done. So I have my
Okay.
superintendent certification. So that's done. Because when our program, you get all of these certifications. So you can get your doctorate in our program. You can also do your principal certification, and you can tack on a superintendent certification. So since I already have that principal, already did the principal program like 2 years ago, I went ahead and did the doctorate program and added on a superintendent certification. So yeah.
Yeah, I keep trying to get Erica to start her own something because it's just like do do do. Okay. Yes. I would wait. So 2 years ago back, you were yeah, Erica. I want to name this. Erica was like, "No, I'm gonna be prepared. Like, I don't know what this program is talking about, but I know when I'm graduating. Like, I know." Did you say 2025? No, I think originally you said 2026, and I was like, "No."
Yeah, because well, okay, so here's what it was. So they tack on this like your cohort is 2024 and you can't be done no earlier than August of 2024. So right, they already tack on this like this is when you're done. So in your mind, I'm trying to like backwards plan. Like the teacher in me is like, okay, how do I backwards plan? What does this look like? And then I got wrapped all up into like dissertation. It was just crazy. It was crazy. And then I had a moment. I was like, I can't. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, and then I was like, well, maybe it's not gonna be 2024, maybe it'll be 2025, or maybe it'll be 2026. Like, I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah, I just remember us having a conversation. I was like, I don't care what that program says. Like, who's gonna look in your face with a finished dissertation and be like, no, you can't graduate? Who's gonna say that? And I remember you looking at me like, what, girl? I'm like, no, seriously, who's gonna do? Nobody. We doing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So I'm losing timelines now. You
Hmm.
had class. When was your literature review class? Was that last fall or the
Oh,
fall before?
so that was the fall before. So this is
Before.
right when I joined. It was like, I remember my friend was like, you need to reach out. And I just came off the summer class. So in our summer program, for those that don't know, I've talked about this before. In the summer program, you are writing chapter one. And this was going into year two of the program on top of coursework. So I'm writing chapter one, and I knew my topic. Like, I already went in this knowing what I wanted to do. So you're writing chapter one, and then that was like in the beginning of July. And then by the end of like July toward the beginning of August, you already were like, you're writing chapter three. So chapter three and chapter one were done before the summer. Like, so my chapter three and chapter one was done, a draft, not say, you know, you got to go through revisions, but a draft. But this was a part of our class. This was a part of the coursework. So then going into the fall with the same professor, you're writing your chapter two. And that's when it hit me. And that's when I met Dr. Lacy. The whole powerhouse conversation happened, and I just took it from there. Yeah.
Yes. And every week, y'all, she would come back and be like, oh, we got to do this. And I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm like, just follow the process. Just follow the process. And I
Yeah.
feel like every time a grade came back, you had either a top grade or one of the top grades in the
Yeah.
class.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember sitting on the I remember, you know, following the format for the literature review between, you know, for you and then for my professor. And then I remember he would send a song if I've got a portion of it right. We laughed about that. So he would send a song. But then I also remember you know, I remember being on a call. It was a Sunday call. And I can tell you what, I did not want to write my table of contents. I did not. Like, I did not want to write this table of contents. I didn't want to do it. I didn't know. At first, I felt like my study was so broad. Like, it was so broad. And it was like, how do I narrow this down? And I remember being on this call, and I sat down on the call. It was a Sunday call. And I went into the breakout room, and I just sat here in this same space. I call it the orange room, and I just wrote my table of contents. I just wrote the table of contents to the point where I had a table. It formatted it out. It had page numbers. It was a whole Excel sheet. Like, it was a whole thing. And that was a part of a program. And I remember sending it that same night. And then my professor coming back talking about, like, this is the model. It was unreal. And I owe that again to Call Scholars, because had I not had the space to do that, I probably would have been watching Netflix, sitting on the couch, watching TV, avoiding this work. But because I'm in this space, everybody's working, everybody's doing it. I could ask questions. I shared my table of contents. I was like, what do y'all think this looks like? That kind of thing. But I got it done that night. Yep. In one
Mhm.
sitting. Yeah.
I have a vague memory because I feel like I was renting. I was going on rents that night. Um, and I remember seeing you working, and then we went into I feel like we went into co-working breakout rooms, and you came back and was like, "Yep, I got it.
Yeah.
I
That's kind
don't
of
know what
how
he
it was.
said, but I
That's
got it."
exactly how it was.
Yes. Mm.
Yeah.
And so you kept showing up, and you did that, and what happened at the end? Like,
So I had
yeah.
my literature review done within, was it 2.5 months? The literature
Mhm.
review done. I trusted the process. I wrote the shitty draft, and I didn't care, and I turned it in, and then I made the edit. Like, that's how the process worked. And I remember my professor's remarks. And the thing is, what I had to remember is that although it was still coursework, your chair is going to get it in the end. And he kept reiterating that. He was like, this is not your final product. This is not the final product. You're going to revise and make the revisions. So I was like, I'm going to turn in the shitty draft. I'm going to do exactly. I'm more of a rule. This is the teacher in me. I'm a rule follower. If you tell me to turn in the shitty draft, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to turn it in just like it is. Like that's how I am. I'm very structured. Like if you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it exactly how you tell me to do it. And I'm going to follow those steps that you tell me to follow so I won't miss a beat. Because with my anxiety, I can't work like that. Like I can't. I have to have it laid out. So just really being able to follow the plan. I remember using your template. I walked through, I marked everything up, I marked the days. When it said take a break, I took a break. When you said to fill in time, like what are you doing here? And I really enjoyed the questions that led up to the literature review. Like that template was it was powerful because it made me think about, I don't know. Let me think about that. Like, what are you trying to get out of this study? What is your study trying to tell? Like, I really love that format because that really helped me with my literature review. And then I got it done, wrote my literature review, and it became like another model for our class. Yeah.
You gonna say that like y'all her literature review became the motto that he was like, I'm gonna just show it to the rest of class because
Yeah,
this is what I
he
want people
did.
to do.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He did. And he brought it up and showed it to the class and just talked about it. And he didn't have anything to say. He was like, you just follow what I tell you, and then follow what you've been doing. You're good to go. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so
That
that
was my
was
first time with you. Like I was only months in Qual Scholars, like months in. So I already had like a chapter one, a chapter three, and a chapter two. And then that spring, that's when we had the research conference. And so
yeah.
I
I
already
want
had
to say before we get to the spring, y'all,
yeah.
like Erica, like just being brand new, like she joined the group. She didn't sign up for private coaches, she joined the group. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna try out this small group coaching session. Would you
Oh
be
yeah.
willing? And that is bravery because listen, everybody thinks they want one-on-one coaching until they have one-on-one coaching. And when you have to show up week after week with me being like, what you doing? Why are you doing that?
It was every
No.
Monday. Every Monday.
That
And I was also teaching at the
is
university too. So on top of my regular job, at the time I was a teacher. So on top of my regular job and then teaching at the college, I had to show up every Monday and do one-on-one coaching every Monday. And I did it.
there's a group of what, four, and it
Yeah.
was no hiding. But like out of that group though,
And I had to
it's
talk
amazing.
about my work. Yeah, I had to talk
Mhm.
about my work. I had to present my work. I had to show like what am I doing? What is my next step? Like all of that. Like all of that. It was intense, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, because then the spring comes and there's a conference and you're preparing for a conference where you're gonna have to present your entire proposal and you have to do your comprehensive exams.
Yes, that comprehensive.
Mm.
Yes. So the conference did my presentation presented in class. Got it was at I think University of Cincinnati. Yeah, our research conference was at University of Cincinnati. So mind you, the research conference was like just a makeup of our proposal. So like getting you ready, right? Getting you ready for your proposal defense. So presented at the research conference. I blew it away. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna brag on myself. I blew it away. It was great. Amazing feedback. Just really just I knew then because at first it's like, do I even know what I'm talking about? So I had a moment in my study where I was like, do I even know what it is that I'm talking about? How am I going to remember all these things? And it was like, if you know, you know. And if you're grounded in the work that you do, and if you show up as the powerhouse, when I tell you I tapped into what Dr. Lacy said, I tapped into that wholeheartedly. Like I dove head in, I'm all in. I'm all in. And I was all in. And the research conference was phenomenal. And that prepared me for our comprehensive exams going into the summer. And that was a whole thing in itself because it wasn't like people's normal comprehensive exams. It was a portfolio of things that we had to present on top of our chapters. So, on top of your one, two, and three, there were several documents that we had to make sure that we had on top of a presentation that is voiced over. So, I used my slides from the research conference and did a voiceover on them. So it was like a whole caboodle. And then people are probably like, how do you find this time? So in the summer, our AC actually went out. And I remember calling Dr. Lacy, and I was sitting here in this same space. It was in the dead of June. It was like 89 degrees, and I'm like sweat bullets rolling down my face. And I'm sitting here trying to finish this proposal. And my husband was like, I mean, my comp exams, he was like, I'm going to get you a hotel, put you up in a hotel, and let you finish and work, because you only had 30 days from the date that you asked for your comp exams to get them turned back in. I finished. Okay. So this is cool. This is when Dr. Lacy says, you're going to finish it in, I think, would you say 15 days? I
Yeah.
feel like you said
Okay.
15
Yeah.
days. My head almost rolled off my shoulders. I was like, what do you mean, lady? 15
Yeah.
days. She was like, no, you're going to finish your proposal. She was like, we're not going to do 30. You're going to finish your stuff in 15 days. I actually finished it 12 days early before it was due. Because that was, again, me being able to show up in that space, and just her being able to tap into this potential, into this untapped potential, and just bringing that out of me. Man, I feel like I was unstoppable. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, oh, okay, I can get that done in 12 days before it's due. What else can I do? And then that prepared me for the multiple revisions that I went through with my chair.
Before before we get there, I want to name something, because one of the biggest things that, like, I guess my critics, if you will, would say is, we don't have to do everything fast. It ain't about rushing. And I agree with them. It's not about rushing. I also know there are real reasons why some people have to do it quickly. There are real reasons why I had to do mine in 2 months, but that's not for everybody's story. And when you come into the group, is one of the first questions I'm asking. I'm asking you when you want to be done, and then I'm asking you why. Because for most people, like 99% of people who are like, I just need to get done, you think that if you can finish the dissertation, that you'll feel lighter, you'll feel more relief. And in some sense, I get the logic. But if you really sit back, what is it that you think you're rushing towards? Right. So when
Mm.
I remember a conversation with Erica, like, why are we rushing? Why we need to rush? And it's like, oh, because I want to change my job and I want to do these things. And I'm like, but why are we not doing that now? Why are we changing the job now? Why do we think we need to be a doctor to have the dream job? And this is for somebody on this who's still here. Why do you think you need to be a doctor to have your dream job? What if that's not true? Right? Because that was one of those Monday night sessions. Erica, what if you just did the thing you wanted to do? And we don't have to put so much pressure on a dissertation. You get to enjoy the dissertation. Yeah, you can enjoy this process. Yeah, you get to enjoy it, instead of trying
Yeah.
to rush, because that, and I'll let you respond in a minute, but like that came in clutch when we fast forward to the summer and Erica gets her chair, and her chair is like, you know, you're not ready to defend. We got some edits to do. And what we both thought was going to take a couple of weeks took almost a year, y'all, of edits, of edits, of edits. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that?
It's funny because I had to, when you talked about like the career and the job, I did fast forward a couple things. So of the spring of 23, I applied for the academic instructional coach position. And then I also applied for another district level position. So Dr. Lace is correct. You don't have to wait. And I don't know. I was fear. It was fear. It was straight fear. I was like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I ended up being offered both positions on top of a university position. So I actually got offered 3 jobs, 3 jobs, to work at the university level, to work at the district level, and then to work at the school level as an academic instructional coach. But I went with the one that feeds my soul the most. So I continue to stay at that school level outside of the classroom. And I still work at the university part-time, but just not full-time. And they were okay with that. They actually asked me to be on the hiring committee for the position that they wanted to hire me for. So I thought that was pretty cool. But you're right. I felt like, and I don't know if this is just from the doctoral program itself, but just that pressure of, you got to get done, you got to get done, you got to get done. Here's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you the steps of you have your classes, you have your coursework, but how do I get done? How do I do those things? And that's to me where Qual Scholars came into a piece. I've had so many people like, oh, well, you had, your dissertation coach. I said, let me tell you something. It ain't like your normal dissertation coach. Let me look at your chapters. And no, I was like, no, 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 no. She does mental mindful work. It's the mindfulness. It's the organizational work. It's the scheduling of the work. It is really diving deep into this untapped ability or untapped knowledge and asking you, why do you want to be doctor so bad? And if you want to be doctor so bad, how are you going to get there? What does that look like? Like the who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's what Qual Scholars does. That's what Dr. Lacy did for me. And really continuously asking myself. And then when I really dove into that, I realized it doesn't even matter what the timeline is. I'm on my own timeline. This is not about what the program thinks. And that really set me back. Specifically when I had to work with my chair, because I'm thinking, oh, well, like Dr. Lacy said, oh, I got all this done. It's going to be a couple of months. Well, listen, y'all, let me tell you, let me just get comfortable. Let me tell you.
You see
So,
the hair with
let me just put the hair back. Let's go on and get comfortable. Let me tell you. So before my chair even looked at my chapters, now mind you, I'm thinking I'm coming fresh off of comp exams. I'm like, here's my stuff. I sent the email and I'm ready, right? Well, my chair was like, so before I even read your documents, here are the following 20 things that I'm going to need you to do beforehand. Excuse me? What do you mean, sir? Sir, you need to read these chapters. What do you mean 20 things before you read the chapters? So he sent me a list of things that I needed to do, such as formatting my dissertation. Because mind you, at first everything was broken up into chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. It wasn't all put together. So he wanted to read it like a dissertation. And he was like, I need your cover page. I need your title page. I need your acknowledgments. I need your abstract. I need all the things. So he gave me the university format of what it's supposed to look like, APA 7, and then you all know what I'm talking about. All of those things had to be done before he even read it. We're not talking about chapter edits. We're just talking about the whole layout design. He was like, I want a page marker for your chapter 4. I want a page marker for your chapter 5. Like he was like, I want all of those things. Like all of those things had to be done before he would read my chapter. So it took I passed comps late July, early August. Well, got the feedback in early August, and then he did not read my stuff until like mid-September, because it took that long for me to get everything lined up like he wanted it before. Somebody in the chat says, how'd you pick him? Because I chose him. And I chose him because they told me he will get you finished. I absolutely adore him now. I adore him now. But then I was like, what did I do? So I sent that to him and I'm thinking, okay, I'm good to go. Like he's going to love my stuff. Well, he didn't love it. He didn't hate it. He was like, here are the revisions. And that's when it started. It was like revision 1. So I took my revisions, did it one. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give myself a time frame. I'm going to get these revisions done within 3 weeks, right? 3 to 4 weeks. So mind you, now we're in like mid-September, late September. And I was like, okay, I should have this back to him by the end, like the beginning of October. So got him those revisions back. And I'm thinking, I'm good to go. I'm done. No, I wasn't. Because he then, on top of the revisions that I did, he found more revisions. So we're on revision 2. And I was like, oh my gosh. And at that moment, it was just like, is this even worth it? Like, can I still do this? Like everybody else in my cohort is like, oh, I'm getting ready to set up my proposal defense. And I'm like, what? Who's your chair? You know what I mean? Sign me up. But so then it became revision 2 and it was more and more things. And what I didn't realize is he was actually fine-tuning my study for to really make it flow and to make it make sense. I wrote the chapter 2. Remember, we talked about this chapter 2, the model chapter 2, wrote this chapter 2. It actually took most of everything out of my chapter 2, rewrote half of the chapter 2 again to only turn around and put most of it back. I kid you not. I sent it to Dr. Lacy. She has it. There was a comment that said, I know I told you to take this out, but I think we actually need it now. So put it back in. And that was what, the 4th revision. And then it was just this back and forth with him. But what I didn't do, I did not stop communicating. I didn't stop communicating. I was like, chair, here's another revision. Here it is again. Here it is again. And when he gave me the feedback, I actually applied the feedback. I didn't take it personal because his comments were hilarious. I didn't take it personal. I realized, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want this? Are you going to go through 8 revisions? You're absolutely correct, because I want to be called Dr. Brooks. And why do you want it? So, yeah. So it's 5 revisions later. 5 revisions later.
I realize my camera doesn't want me to be great. Hold on, y'all. Technical difference. Okay, you know what? We here. Hopefully the focus will find its way. But here's the thing, right? Y'all hear me talk a lot about shitty paragraphs. This is why. I am not saying, oh, write shitty paragraphs and turn in the shitty paragraphs. No, I am saying write shitty paragraphs. Get it to a C minus. C minus to the people who not ignorant part. C minus, and then you're gonna turn that in, because your chair, your committee, they have expectations, unspoken expectations, that they can only tell you once they have a draft. And their version of a draft is something that is solid, that just needs a few minor tweaks, and then it should be ready to go. In order to do that, or to give yourself enough time to really flesh out your ideas and to figure out what am I trying to say? Did I do a good job of like demonstrating my argument and with examples and being clear? In order to do that, you have to start with a shitty paragraph, give yourself enough time, work it, change, and then turn it in. But the other part is, what I tell y'all is, be prepared to do a minimum of 5 drafts. Just hit and setting your soul a minimum of 5 drafts. And I said this to Erica, right? But Erica was like, no, because I'm ahead of schedule. Logically, right? Like, I'm ahead of schedule, giving this man an entire proposal. I won the model. Like, I am the model of everything. What could he say?
A lot.
And I'm going to tell y'all, like, she said that calmly. The first edit, she was like, all right, I'll play your little game. The second edit, she was looking at him real hard with a side eye. That text message came through, y'all, on my phone. I thought the chair was gonna be, he should be fearful of his life. She was so mad. She was hot. But y'all, this is why I'm like, commit to yourself, commit to 5 drafts, because this is not the Erica thing, but I wanted to bring up this example because it's so good. It's so good. Like, are you willing to go back and forth with edits over a year period? Are you willing to do that? Do you want this? Do you want to be a doctor and be willing to go through these edits? Because while I was making jokes about her, like, haha, this is his dissertation, I could see in his comments, he really cared about the work. Like, he wanted it to be, like, in his mind, how I read his comments was that all she needs to do is collect her data and add the final 2 chapters, but she should never have to touch these 2 chapters again, because he was like the type of feedback y'all think y'all want, that's what he was giving. He was giving all the smoke.
All the smoke. It was at one point, he said to me, I continuously see the same thing. Do you want this dissertation or not? That's what he said. And I was like, what? Like, and I would reply back all nervously, like, I'm so sorry, I missed it, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, okay, here is when the turning point happened. It was like revision 3 and revision 4 when I said, what am I missing? So I made an appointment with him face to face. Like, we would do Zoom, that kind of thing. But I was like, I need to see him in person. I met him in person the first time, which was great. But I needed to see him again. I printed out all of my revisions. I remember telling Dr. Lacy this, stapled it all nicely, had revision 1, 2, and 3. And I think it was 4. And I said, I went to his office, like, ready, like, you told me to take this out. Here are your comments. And now you want me to put it back? And so I went to his office thinking I'm just ready to be like, blah, blah, blah. And then I sat down and we just had this amazing conversation. And I feel like any opportunity he can to teach, he was able to do that. So he stood up and got his whiteboard and was drawing diagrams on the board. He was like, I want you to funnel it, make it like a funnel, go broad and go narrow. He actually drew the funnel out. He had like circles and diagrams. And then I realized this is not even my dissertation no more. This is his. Why are you just give him the control? He also changed my topic, like the study of my topic, like the title of my topic. He changed it all around. And I realized this is not yours. He would drop in like tables and graphs. He was like, I really feel like this fits nicely in your study. You know what? It does. Yep, let's keep it. And it was at that moment I realized, okay, it's his dissertation. I'm just writing it. And I have to do it in a systematic way. And it showed up today in my proposal defense. It showed up in his comments about my slides. He never really gives a lot of positive feedback. And I've received a lot of positive feedback from him. And I was like, okay, William, this is it. So yeah.
Yes. So for y'all to know, like if you come inside the institute, we call chairs by their first name. Why? Because they be acting ridiculous, and you got to remember that they are people. So William, it was a lot of Williams. Williams, he needs to get it. He needs to get together. But
Yes.
no, and when I tell Erica, like they are BFFs, okay, they're gonna be BFFs for life, for real, for real. You don't get rid of your chair. I tell my chair, you don't get rid of me, girl. We go real bad.
Yeah.
Someone had a question, and so right, Michael, Dr. Henry. Someone had a question about, did you ever miss deadlines? And if you're comfortable, I want to get into it, right? Because part of the 8 months is being mad. Part of the 8 months is like, I'm not touching these edits. Well, I don't need to be a doctor. I don't need this degree, right? But making room for that part of the process is important. It's also about being like standing in your power.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna always be like, rah, go get him. Sometimes you're gonna be pissed off. I want this, like, I want you to just accept this. Why can't I just be like everybody else and get this passed through, right? Do the bare minimum, get it passed through and move on. Why
Not with Bill. Yeah, so to talk about that, actually he didn't have deadlines. I set my own deadlines. So it was my own timeline and deadlines that I would give myself because I knew I needed to do that, based off of just how the program and Call Scholars work. So here's what happened. It was it the fourth? It was the third going into the fourth revision. It was like in December. And for me, like the holidays are really hard because the loss of my parents and things like that. So I went through a whole phase. I didn't write nothing. I said, I ain't doing another thing. I didn't write December and I did not write in January. I didn't touch it. I said, I'm over it. I can't. Nope, I'm done. And actually I picked it back up in January, but it was like mid-January. And then I realized I had to get out of that funk. Like I had to get over that. Mental health and all those things are real. And when I felt like that, I was like, I can't. So I stepped away. Because the only deadline that I had was my own deadline. He wasn't like I needed it by this date. He never was like that, ever. So every time I would submit something, it was because I told myself I was going to get it to him back within 2 to 3 weeks or within 3 to 4 weeks. And I would tell him when it was going to be due and how I was going to be communicated. So that month of December, especially when I got that revision, I was like, I'm done. I'm over it. Nope. I'm not writing another thing. Not that I said I was going to quit. I said I wasn't going to write anything else. So then I was done. I picked it back up mid-January, and then here we are in April. So it was a total of 8 months of revisions, of back and forth, 5 revisions, 8 months later, and here we are, defended my proposal defense. And I'm still on track and ahead of schedule.
Still on track and ahead of schedule, even with 8 months of going back and forth and back to box William in his face. Does that sink in? I know people ask me this question a lot, but I'm asking you, like, has it sunk in, like, just how much you have done over the past years. You know what we haven't talked about? We haven't talked about you got a whole family. We haven't talked about you got a whole husband.
No,
We haven't
yeah.
talked about none of that.
Yeah, whole husband. I have grandkids. I got a grand dog. Our son just got married. Like I have a whole family, y'all. Like I'm the youngest of five, like for real. But they give me space. They're all grown.
Mm,
These are my
mm,
stepkids, my amazing stepkids. But they're all grown. But I love the fact that my husband, and he's actually on the call, and he's writing stuff in the box, but he's also been a powerhouse, and he's given me the space to be great. And I love
yes.
that. And he's my biggest cheerleader. And I appreciate that from him a lot because this is a commitment. And I didn't realize how much I had to give up in order to get to where I want to get. And I appreciate that from him. So
I
I
want
love
to say shout out. Shout
it.
out to hubby. Let me tell y'all, right? Like, so earlier we were talking about how you could just show up to the calls as you are, and Dr.
Yeah.
Henry was like, "She'll remember you showing up on the bonnet with a bonnet. You always on point," which is true. But there are some times, there's some rare occasions where
Yes.
you are in the background cooking or something, and then you see your husband just walk past. And I just want to shout out to him because every interaction that I've heard or you've told me about, it's just always one of support.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of space in this process to really give the flowers to the spouses and the partners and the
Ooh,
people who listen us in
yes.
the middle of the night going on and on about something they don't even know what we're talking about. But by the time you're done, they have a degree too. They too are going through the process. And so,
He is. Yeah.
well, shout out to him, especially when the air went out, okay? Because who, who
That was I was like, I mean, I was sweating, y'all. Little bullets just sweating beads. And I'm in here like this on the computer trying to get it done. He was like, no, I'm gonna need you to go to a hotel.
Is there any words? I was gonna go on a whole tangent about, I work with a lot of teachers and
Yep,
educators,
yep.
and I probably am gonna ask you this question before I close it out. One of the things I come up against is they're like, "No, you don't understand. We have a lot going on." I'm like, "I do understand because most of my clients are teachers, so the teacher isn't gonna tell me that I haven't heard or I haven't had to help somebody navigate." But the thing that like blows my mind is right, you're teaching in especially still in the classroom, right? You have classroom things and all the stuff that comes with that, you're just working all these long hours with no breaks. But on top of that, you have to keep track of, all right, I need to prepare to be somebody's principal. And so I need to get these certifications, I need to get these extra developments. And so a lot of my conversations are like, do you want to be doctor or do you want to be a principal? Because you're trying to do both. And I'm not saying you can't do both. I'm just saying
Right.
there's only so much time and energy. I guess my question for you is how did you manage to be inside the classroom before you were even hired as an instructional coach? You was in everybody else's classroom helping them because they couldn't figure it out. Y'all listen, she over here playing humble, but if you are in like classroom management, special ed, curriculum, instruction, anything. Okay, you need to come talk to Erica, okay? Because everybody was talking to her, but now, but I'm just saying, how did you do all of that? How did you manage to keep track of that and keep going with your classes and making progress on your proposal?
It was the planning. I've never been a planner person at first. And
Mhm.
then it was the planning of the program, and learning how to do the 2 hours. And I kid you not, it really was for me. It was the planning. And then I remember we talked about a shared calendar and a Google calendar and putting things in the Google calendar and sharing them with my husband. So he saw everything that I had to do because I was busy. So,
Stress me
so we share a calendar, and when it popped up for professional development, it was on his calendar. If I said, I mean, I sat down on those Sunday calls and I put in everything in the calendar and planned it all out. And what I ended up doing was I realized, I work for a large school district. Being in education, it takes a lot out of you. And I've been doing it for a really long time, 14 years. So I realized I was like, you know what? Why am I still taking work home? I'm a whole veteran teacher. I should be figuring out how to use my planning time to actually plan and do what I need to do. So I figured that out. So one, I stopped carrying teacher work home. Nope. And if I did, I gave them a day. Their days were Mondays. My
Wait,
school day,
wait, 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 wait. How you do that? How you be a teacher and not take work home?
because I had
I'm
already
asking a question.
spent, because what I didn't realize is all of these years I've already spent honing in on my craft already. So everything that I needed, I already had. I just needed to bring it back up, like bring it back out and use it again. And that's even with new curriculum, with being a special ed teacher, paperwork, data collection, all of that. I made sure that during my planning time, it was strictly my planning time. And this is what I'm doing during that planning time. Anything else outside of those hours, you don't pay me for. And if I did give you a day, it was one day a week and it was Monday. And I would allot myself, when Dr. Lacy talked about the 2 hours, I allotted myself 2 hours for that. So, and I wish I still have my schedule so I can go back and look at my schedules and see how I wrote down the times. So my school, like my job would get Mondays. And then of course I'm teaching college classes. So that those would get 2 days because I was teaching 2 days a week, one online and one in person on campus. So those would get 2 days. And then the other 3 days or whatever, or the other 2 days would be designated to either classwork, because I also still had to show up for class. So what I did was immediately after class, I did the class work or whatever assignment I had to do immediately after, because that way it's done. Or I would spend Friday nights, and my husband will tell you I gave up a many Friday nights so I could hang out on Saturday. But a mini Friday night, and I would sit here and do dissertation work or either coursework on Friday nights. But I did not, I stuck to the Dr. Lacy said, you don't really have to work on the weekends. You don't have to do it on the Saturday. Enjoy your Saturdays. I stuck to that because I didn't have to work on Saturdays.
Wait, but how did you break? That's the other thing. People are like, 10 hours. 10 hours, that's it. Number one, that's it. That's all you need. And
Yeah.
then two, how do you take a break? How do you enjoy your Saturdays without the guilt of you should be reading something or you should be writing something?
Because you already know the material. And I had to realize that. I already knew, like, if I was in the literature review, I already knew what I wanted to say, just say it. Right. And then, you know, do it that way. Like it was, I already knew what I was talking about. I already knew my study, and I had to allow myself the freedom to do that because that was hard. I would be like, no, I got to read one more article. No, I don't. I already know the topic. I, I lived the topic. I'm a whole lived experience of my dissertation topic. What are you talking about? You already know it. That's why you're studying it. That's the whole purpose. So I had to be able to do that. And when if it was 10 hours and then breaking it down to those two and then breaking it down into the task, I made sure that the task was relevant to what it was that I needed to do and that it was timely. And I'm not just say I'm surfing the internet or whatever that I'm doing in that, you know, those little small tasks. I made sure that the task was related to whatever it was for that topic and then whatever my goal was for the month. Those are really, those, that is what really got me through whatever my goal was, breaking that down and then moving on. Yep.
Yes. And there's so much many more questions I could ask. Because people are like, that's too tedious, that's too much work. I just want to get to action. If you want to be a powerhouse, you want to be able to juggle all these things, you're going to have to update the way you plan. So you're going to have to be more intentional, get more granular, and be very, what's the word I want to say? Discipline.
Discipline. It was a discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because for me, especially if you're private coaching with me, I don't want you just straight through. Right. Because I'm like, Erica, you got to help husband. Could you find him and spend time? That's important.
Yeah.
Especially in the process. Like you're tempted to be like, oh, no. They understand. My family understands that this is a commitment. But you still need them, each other.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he's saying, OMG, not the calendar. I'm telling you, y'all, that calendar was everything. And I told him if it didn't go in the calendar, it wasn't happening. We were not doing it. We wasn't doing it if you didn't write it down. He stuck to the calendar. I stuck to the calendar. It was a lot of discipline. And just being able to be like, no, my friends are hanging out tonight. I can't go. I can't go. I got schoolwork. But yeah.
Yeah. What would you tell people who are on the fence about joining the institute, whether they're like, I just don't have the time, the money, I don't know, I'm trying to do other things with the money because it's the common things I hear.
Oh, this is so good. Um, I realized although there's only been a handful of times that I have made an investment in myself, and this is one of them. I sat down, I talked to my husband. I was like, I want to join this, the institute. How am if I don't invest in me, who will? And so I say to you, if you don't invest in you, then who will? Because you say you want to do these things, you say you want to be, but you have to make an investment. And if that investment looks like joining the institute, then do it. If that investment looks like getting an editor, then do it. I am making an investment that is going to pay off for me and feed me, and I will be able to eat off this investment for a very long time. That's how I looked at it.
Well, mic drop. Ooh, no, no, no. Oh, y'all, I made a mistake. So here we go. We're like, mic drop moment. I was just like, well, y'all tried to end the episode, okay? Yes, investing in yourself is important. We don't have many messages or what's the word, like affirming us to invest in ourselves,
No.
especially if you're socialized as a woman in this society. It's about giving to other people. What can you like? Be a team player, be a giver. But you have to, when people say fill your cup, that's not a cliche. It's just not a cliche. It's also very real because think about it. If you're not here, what happens to all those people and projects and organizations that depends on you?
Yep.
If you are unwell and you can't show up, what happens to all of the work that you've done?
You say this all the time. You say someone is waiting on your study. Someone is waiting on you to become doctor. Somebody's waiting on you to finish. And I'm like, who? Who's waiting? Who's waiting? Somebody's out there want to hear what I gotta say. So that's why it was a no-brainer for me. It was a no-brainer for me. Because what I want to do, then I have to make that investment in myself. Yep. Was it human capital? Invest in the human capital. Yeah.
Yes. I'm so hyped for you as you collect data and you start having all these like ahas and like things that you want to write. Because at this point, it's just like, oh, people thought you were doing a lot before. Oh, wait till you start actually getting into the data collection piece. So you have to come back, tell us how that was.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I want to end on something fun. I was going to say it was really fun. How about, are you a Beyonce fan? Have we had this conversation?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
The way you said that is giving me a
because here's the thing. I'm not like a super fan, but when I went to her concert, oh my gosh, that was mind blown. I was hooked. I had certain songs, but I became like, okay, like I get the text messages, the little beehive text messages. I'm in the group.
I'm in the group, y'all. Wait, which concert did you go to?
It was the Renaissance tour when I turned 40, and she came, and my husband got me tickets to go, and I was like, oh.
Where's prayer? Where's Erica's prayer? Okay, because
he said you're welcome.
Beyonce tickets.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, she's a whole performer. And it's funny because I was like, I feel like her work ethic is like my work ethic. Like that's how I had that whole moment. I was like, we're one. It was funny.
Yes. I mean, listen, who else is recording 3 albums and ready to go and like just have them sitting there for 5 years? What? Who's doing that? I was going to ask you, did you have a favorite song off of Cowboy Carter to close us out? Did you listen? If you didn't,
the Cowboy Carter. Let's see. I don't really have a favorite song, but it reminds me of like my professor in the theme song. So I will let you pick a theme song that fits best
Ooh,
for this situation because that's what he would do. He would pick a theme song that fits best. I don't
ooh.
have a favorite one off the album though.
Okay, let me think. Let me think. Let me think. I'm not gonna tell you the first thing that came to my mind. I am gonna tell you, but let me find a more like more appropriate song. Um, I'm just gonna go with my first mind. So the first thing that came up was Tyrant, and let me explain, okay? Because maybe like this is going left. Okay, to me, part one of the meanings of that song in my brain is her saying, like, I've been trying to, be the best that I could be. I'm over here on my own path, but I see so and so over here, just saying like something taking names, whatever. Like somebody who is coming in and getting all the things who are passing you, and you're like, how do you do this and sleep at night? How do you play
Yeah.
the game so well and you still sleep at night? And then the second
Yeah.
half of the song is her becoming the time. Not that I'm saying you're over here abusing systems. What I'm saying is you saw that other people are showing up, getting accolades, getting praise, and not that that's what you were after, but you saw people that you knew you were better than getting the
Yeah.
recognition that you should have received, and being like, this is something right, and then giving yourself permission to be like, no, I'm gonna go full out. I'm gonna show y'all how to really do this.
Right.
So that was a long way around, but that's where my brain went to. I'm gonna
Okay.
keep thinking about this. I
I
do
like it.
like this stuff.
I like
Like I do astrology readings, and then I used to give people Beyonce songs to go with it. It's not just one album. I need to bring this back. I need to do this for like the dissertation. Every time
it.
somebody comes for an interview, give them a Beyonce song.
Yes. That would be so dope. I would have loved to know what my Beyonce song was before, like the before and then now.
Ooh. One of my
Yeah.
favorite, one of my favorite business questions to ask people if they're Beyonce fans. If your current moment in life was a Beyonce album, what album would it be? So if you are on this call, like you on this live and you're a Beyonce fan, I would be curious to know what album you say you are currently. Um,
I
what
would say
song?
the rebirth.
Ooh,
It would be the renaissance for me because I feel like I am rebirth. I feel like I am just like, yeah, for me, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. The stage of my life. Yep.
mm,
Yep.
as I was working this weekend, I was like, listen to all these albums. um, but I'm gonna think about that for you, Erica.
Okay.
I am. Yeah. No, I'm definitely in my Cowboy Carter phase. I'm like, I wanna just cuss everybody out. I just want everybody to be like, just the truth, because y'all, I'm on a mission. We need to have degrees. But like, listen, the babies are out here on the college campus, like, and they are doing things, they are initiating things, and we have to help them. We got to put in the information for the long term planning. Because after you burn the system down, you got to put something in its place. And if we don't have like information to work off of, we're just going to do the same thing we've been doing. My point
Yeah.
is, somebody's waiting for your dissertation, somebody's waiting for your work, and the way that all of y'all like collectively come to this process, it is different than what's already been out there. We need your work, and we desperately need it now because the clock has been running. They're out there. Y'all see the police pulling up. Now you got these babies out here coloring and eating snacks online, but they call in the National Guard. That means the time's here and we got work to do, and we can do work
Yeah.
inside the system
Oh yeah.
as they do work outside the system. Okay. Oh, what is the first thing to do after you get your doctorate?
He knows. So the first thing that I'm going to do after I get my doctorate is take a trip. We're going out of town. We're leaving town. Paris is where I want to go because that was where my mother wanted to travel before she passed away. So that's kind of where what I want to do. Go to Paris.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you have your night back. I want to say thank you for sharing
Yes.
your experience and coming on here. It's not easy to be on live, but I genuinely appreciate
It's my
it.
first
How can
time doing a
people?
lot. I like
Which
it.
is, I'm shocked, y'all, because she used to leave Sunday calls, and people love those calls. They're like, "Oh, Erica's here. We don't need you, girl. You don't have to be here." That's what they would tell me. We don't need you. We got Erica. Um, how can people stay in touch with you?
Well,
There we go.
you can stay in touch with me through Instagram. My name is simple. It's ebrooks0706, or Facebook, Erica Brooks, or the X, Twitter X. I'm there. Just type in my name. I don't have those long drawn out names. But yeah, that or my email. My personal email is e.brooks0706 @gmail.com. So yeah.
Thank you. Yes, it's so great. It's so great. We'll be back next Monday, y'all. Next Monday, I am inviting Dr. Candice Marie Henry and also me. um, we're going to be talking about the Amanda Seals interview with Shannon Sharp. Hopefully, my temper will be down by the time we get there because I'm still hot. I know it's probably been a week by this point. I'm still hot at that interview. Rage. So we're going to be talking about it because there's a lot of parallels in my brain, the dissertation process, or parallels to how you show up, especially as Black women showing up in this process in higher education. The way he played in her face is the fact to be playing in your face, and we're gonna break it down. So please come next week for that. But I hope y'all have a good night. Bye, y'all.
Bye.